All right, Lisa, let's kind of start off with your background. Where'd you go to hygiene school? How long you been a hygienist? That kind of stuff.
Sure. I've been a hygienist practicing for the last 15 years. I went to Harper College is a community college in Palatine, Illinois. So I have always been a clinical hygienist and kind of spreading my horizons at this point, or spreading my wings, if you will. Doing some independent work for WaterPik, do a lot of volunteer work for the Oral Cancer Foundation, along with my local dental hygiene component, and just various other little things. I feel like I'm working 110% in less than 24 hours a day.
I hear you. What's your BA degree in? Just curious.
I have a Bachelor of Arts in it's half business and half psychology.
Hmm.
So I achieved that degree prior to going to hygiene school.
Hmm.
I kind of fell into this position just I was working, helping a friend out actually one summer at the front desk in a dental office. I'd never worked in a dental office before. Now, when she was on maternity leave, I was working in her place. As I continued on, I was doing some part-time work in the evenings and on Saturdays for the office. And then one of the doctors in the practice needed an assistant, and I thought, oh, I can't do that. I
Yeah.
can't be in people's mouths. That's not my thing. So I said, all right, fine, but under one condition. I'm not going to do any assisting with extractions.
Hmm.
Well, that didn't take long before
Right.
I started doing assisting with extractions. So from that point forward, he said, you know, you'd make a really good hygienist. You should go to hygiene school. So that was my introduction to dental hygiene.
Hmm.
And I have found a field I absolutely enjoy immensely.
Are you currently working part-time clinical or are you full-time still?
No, I'm part-time. I work
Part-time.
2 days a week for an office that's local. It's great. I actually got that job because I was temping. I've always done a lot of temping all through the years, and this particular office I temped in a few times, and they needed a part-timer and called me up and asked me if I was interested. So I interviewed for the position, and so I've been there about a year and a half now.
Very good.
It's really great.
I wanted to get into your position at WaterPik. That's kind of our main topic today is the WaterPik product and what you do. Can you get into that, like how you got that position and what you do for the company?
Sure. Actually, it was a colleague of mine that I know from the local dental hygiene component, North Suburban Dental Hygienist Society here in Illinois. And she also actually is currently working with me part-time as a clinical hygienist. So I just know her from different aspects, like the Oral Cancer Foundation as well. And she said, oh, I'm starting to do lunch and learns for WaterPik. I said, oh, that's so awesome. I'd love to do that. So she put me in touch with Carol Jan, which a lot of people probably know Carol.
Yeah.
She's worked with WaterPik for many years, and Carol's actually here local in my state. So I contacted Carol, and she said, "Oh, you know, we actually have fulfilled our quota for the year." And then she said, "Oh, you know what? I made a mistake. We actually do have an open position." So I was interviewed and hired for the position. It is as an independent education representative, so we are actually independent contractors. We are not employed
Right.
directly by WaterPik. So, and it's basically to educate the dental professionals in various states in the United States here,
Hmm.
to kind of get them familiar with the different models and the different idiosyncrasies of the models. And, you know, a lot of times we do, as hygienists, recommend a WaterPik, but many of us don't know what model to recommend,
Right.
what's better one over another. So this is WaterPik's way of getting that information out to the
Hmm.
public.
And do you basically do like lunch and learns, Lisa? Is that what you do for the most part with for them?
Primarily, yes. And with respect to that, I am responsible for finding my own dental offices to
Okay.
provide lunch and learns to.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's just word of mouth, you know, people that you know say,
Right.
oh, you're for WaterPik, you work with WaterPik, that's great, I'd love to learn more about it. So, you know, set up a lunch and learn in the office. Sometimes there are things that come through corporate, but mostly it's like cold calling. Sometimes I make actual cold calls or
Hmm.
emails, or we'll actually call in an office if I'm in the area and say, hey, if you guys are recommending and you'd be interested in learning more,
Yeah.
I'm your gal.
And let's see, do they pay you for the for eat, lunch, and learn, or is it a percentage of sales? How does that work?
This is not a sales
Right.
position whatsoever. It is
Okay.
merely educational. So it is a per lunch and learn contracted fee,
Hmm.
and they will pick up the lunch fee as well, up to $10. So I
Hmm.
submit an invoice when I'm all completed with the lunch and learn, and then they send a reimbursement check to me. So with the honorarium.
How often do you do these? Per week or per month?
WaterPik would like to see us doing like 3 to 6 a month. So
Hmm.
I average about 4 a month.
Oh, all
That's
right.
really nice.
Yes. I'm a big fan of the WaterPik myself, Lisa. I've been using the
Right.
WaterPik personally for years. I actually bought a couple of WaterPiks. I have them at work to show patients because I'm
Yes.
kids especially with ortho. That's to me, there's nothing better than a WaterPik, right? I mean, you're trying
Have
to tell a
you?
kid with a floss threader,
Yeah.
and let's forget that,
What is that? How
Yeah.
you can hardly get them to brush their teeth, let alone do any
Yeah.
kind of interdental cleaning. So
Yeah.
I feel WaterPik is the way to go.
Hmm.
Now, have you had a lunch and learn in your office?
No, I haven't, but my situation, Lisa, is that I work for a corporate national corporation, so it's kind of
Okay.
tough to, you know, do that locally. It's like everything is top down. I don't know if you do like many corporate offices, but
Um,
it's tough to get in, because it's kind
I
of a
bet
tough. But I do it on my own, so I
good for
just
you.
show the
Good for
water
you.
picks. But for perio patients too, it's perio and ortho. It's like the two main. I mean, for everybody really, but for those two especially.
Especially, we
Yeah.
do have a lot of research that supports the efficacy of the product post ortho or during ortho and post actually SRP.
Right.
So there's a recent study that was done that compares the water flosser to actually placing a Reston,
Yeah.
and they're pretty much head to head.
Mhm.
So if you can supply a product to a patient that will work as effectively as a medicament.
Right.
And when you have that medicament, you may have to use that on more than one occasion. So
Mhm.
why not use something that's part of your daily oral hygiene routine?
Exactly. And to me, like nothing's better than a daily routine. Compared to something that you're going to get at the dental office, once every 3 months or every 6 months. Well,
Correct.
I think that's
I
like
would
yeah,
agree with you 100%.
water pick, xylitol, whatever, things like that you can do every day. But I had a patient. I'll tell you a story. So I had a patient that started using the water pick. He was a perio patient. The first time I saw him, typical, moderate perio. He had a lot of bad fillings in his mouth, perfect traps for bacteria.
Mhm.
And first time I saw him, he said, "Yeah, I had a deep cleaning before. Needed it again because I've been a couple of years." And he was kind of away from the office. Did the SRP, told him about the water pick, and when he came back for his reeval, it was like 3 months later, the perio maintenance and reeval. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, because he walked in and said, "I've been using the hell out of the water pick," and I said, "Good," so I can tell he was telling the truth. He's been using this thing. But I was still thinking because he has so many bad fillings and stuff. So he has so much trap for bacteria that he's still gonna have bleeding. I bet. He had no bleeding. Like
Is that
he's like
amazing?
my sample patient. Like he had no bleeding at all, even with all those traps. So there's no way floss is gonna do the same thing. But that's what I think.
Well, when I explain floss to a patient, especially a perio patient who's had some bone loss, you think of two hourglasses
Yeah.
tucked up against each other, and that's what your floss is doing, is just going through those two contact points where the hourglasses are touching. You're not reaching any concavities whatsoever.
Right.
And the water flosser, based on the functionality, is compressing and decompressing the tissue with
Hmm.
the pulsations and the pressure. And bar none, I've seen nothing that works as effectively as a WaterPik water flosser.
Right. And how does it I mean, obviously, studies show that compared to string floss, it's better overall. How does it compare to some of the other brands? I know, the Waterpik has that pulsating motion. Whereas I know some of the other water flossers don't have that. It's like a steady stream, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure which models out there are actually a continuous stream device,
Yeah.
but they have done some research that will compare to the pulsating device, which is the water flosser, or, to name another nationally known name brand would be the Sonicare Air Floss, which, those are great if there's somebody that you can't get to commit to something else. But what I don't care for the air floss is that it only cleans interproximally,
Right.
where the water flosser is cleaning all the surfaces of the tooth. So that just, hands down, again, is the way to go.
And I have the air flosser too. I got it for free, probably from the company. I forgot, but I never used it. But I've seen the videos of it. And it seems like there's not much water that comes out of it. And for me, the big thing about the WaterPik is the amount of water. I think it's very important, how much water to kind of flush things out.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And if you have one, you should try your Sonicare Air Floss. When I tried mine, and my tissues are really pretty toughened up by using the WaterPik water flosser for the last several years. If you don't get that Sonicare Air Floss placed just correctly interproximally, that burst of air and water actually, it stings if you don't get the angulation correct.
Yeah.
So that's not necessarily the case with the water flosser when you use it as directed.
Right, exactly. So let's move on to, as far as selling the product in the office, Lisa, like how does that process work? Does the office buy the product from WaterPik at wholesale? How does that work?
You as an office, it is up to you as your choice if you want to actually be distributing the water flossers or if you want to just send your patients to the store. Earlier this year, like in February, WaterPik just launched their distribution, or their line for distribution, that is available to a patient strictly through the dental professional or online, not something that they are able to actually go to a brick and mortar store to purchase.
Right.
So it really depends on who you're working with, as far as, are you actually working with WaterPik directly as a dental professional or dental office, or are you going through a dental dealer? Because everybody's going to give you a little bit different price. So, if you have a dental dealer that you use exclusively and you get really good pricing, you may get a better price per unit through the dealer versus going through WaterPik itself. But we don't have any real information about that. We do have some guidelines that say, well, you probably will, as a dental professional, purchase the product at about $50 per unit at a 6-unit minimum. And this is specifically the Aquarius unit that I'm referring to, which is the one that was just introduced in February. And you could sell it to your patient for $65. The patient will get a $15 mail-in rebate, so their cost is $50 then, which is actually less expensive than they can purchase the Ultra, which is the one that's available brick and mortar. Right.
Interesting. Yeah, I've seen the WaterPik, sold through some of the dealers. I'm not sure if it was Practicon that I saw, but at a lower price, of course, so you can sell it, make some money. But I think the advantage of having it in the office is just to, showing the patient the actual WaterPik, and them buying the WaterPik right there.
Convenient.
I'm pretty sure a lot of patients, they leave the office, they might be motivated to buy it, but then, they get busy and they end up not getting it, right?
It's true. It really is case dependent on your patient. Some are like, oh yeah, if you had it here, I'd buy it right now. For others, if they have a very busy lifestyle, it may be more of a challenge to get to the store. So this isn't necessarily something that has a huge profit margin for a dental office. It's really just being able to provide your patients with a product that is just, it's ease of access to it. And there are a couple of the pieces in the line that are strictly for distributing through the dental office, so that we've heard complaints. I've heard some complaints from people who say, well, I can sell a Sonicare and Oral-B toothbrush in the practice, but then the patient can go to a big box store and purchase it cheaper. But the patient isn't really understanding that they're not getting the exact same thing in the dental office as they are at the big box. And at this point, the Aquarius water flosser is not available at brick and mortar retail stores. So a patient can purchase it online at, say, Amazon for the retail price of $80, but could get it through their dental professional for a reduced rate.
And again, like the advantage too is just, I mean, if you buy at the store, they're maybe not sure which model to get. If you're in the office, you have a hygienist showing you how to use it, so that's kind of a free benefit, right?
Absolutely, because it is kind of one of those things. I know for myself, even just, oh well, yeah, I've recommended water floss, but I don't really know how to use the specifics of the product, or what are some of the ins and outs, or the nuances of it. And so that's where the Lunch and Learn program has come into play to actually educate the dental professional.
Yeah, I have the big model. I forgot. I think you just said it. The 100. Is that what it is? The one for the like on the sink with the 10 levels, the big tank. I have that model.
Is that the white or the blue?
I don't know. The tank is blue. Yeah, it's white.
That's probably the Ultra, which is what's
Ultra.
Yeah. And then we have one similar that has the actual Sensonic toothbrush attached to it as well. So it's one unit that uses only one outlet in the bathroom. It's a little bit bigger unit, but if you're a powered brush user, this combines the two units together. So that's a really nice product as well.
I just got the one for the shower too, but I haven't installed it yet. So I'm not sure how that compares to the. And that too, I think, is a big thing too, Lisa. Like if having it in the shower, because people like to be in the shower, like relaxing. So I think compliance is probably better too, because I'm just gonna relax in the shower and just floss my teeth, right?
Right.
Being at the sink, they're like, I gotta get going here, Don't want to do it. Right.
Did you know that about 30% of the population actually does perform their oral care in the shower?
Yeah.
So that's where WaterPik actually came up with the idea of putting one that attaches right to the shower, so you have a continuous stream of water, and if you're worried about being messy, there's really no mess because you're in the shower. So that's an awesome unit.
Lisa, can you give us just like an overview of the products that you guys sell? I know I'm only familiar pretty much with the water flosser, so can you just kind of give us a overall of all the products that's currently available?
I can. I know basically some of the other products that WaterPik deals in. That is the actual professional line, so for dental professionals, and I don't work with that line. But they can work, dental offices can work with their dental dealer. We do have Profi angles, we have Profi paste, we have a fluoride varnish.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. Matrix bands. Trying to think I'm not totally familiar with all those products. I believe impression trays. They have fluoride foam. I think that's mostly and wedges. Those are some of the other products that are available through WaterPik, but again, not a line that I work with.
Right, gotcha. Is WaterPik currently looking for hygienists to do these lunch and learns in other areas, or are they expanding, or are they kind of all set with like the whole U.S. basically?
As far as I know, for the year they may be set, but then again, they may open up more positions. I know at the beginning of 2014. They did expand the Lunch and Learn program to more states across the United States. So I believe we have a total of 63 independent education reps across the U.S. And they did pretty much start here in Illinois. So it doesn't hurt to contact WaterPik directly to find out, if someone would be interested in perhaps being an independent education rep. You can put on a list so that when they do expand the program, which my guess is they probably will as time goes on, because the program is presenting to be successful. So,
Have you always wanted to do something outside of clinical, Lisa, or have you?
I think I have, and just recently where I said, okay, I think I'm ready to do some other things, and it was 3 years ago when I decided to become a board member of my local component of the ADHA. So that was sort of the beginning of me getting involved in other things, and I've met so many people from that experience and actually have been attending RDH under one roof since that time. So have really expanded my repertoire of people that I know, and yeah, so it's really kind of getting fun just doing something outside of clinical.
I know quite a few hygienists have thought or currently thinking about, doing something outside clinical, and this is one thing that they could possibly do, or other things similar to this. But
Right.
I think a lot of hygienists just don't know what the options are,
They
what
don't. And what I really like about WaterPik is that it is not a sales position, so
Right.
there are no quotas to meet as far as, okay, so you need to sell X number of this type of model. It's merely educational, and as a dental hygienist, that's what we do. We are the prevention specialists who educate our patients with how to be preventive in your, disease process. So that's what's really cool about WaterPik, is that you are just educating people on a different aspect. I love that part of it.
So you're in the Chicago area, Lisa? Is that where you're at?
We have 4 reps here in Illinois. That's mostly Upper Illinois, the metropolis area, so kind of like a north, south, east, west. So we do currently have 4 reps here. Nobody in the southern part of the state as of yet. So, but we, it's pretty busy. A lot of dental offices in northern Illinois.
So if somebody wanted to, arrange a lunch and learn with you, how would they contact you? What's the best way?
Well, they could find me on Facebook, or they could just contact the 1-800 number of WaterPik, the customer service number, and say, I'm interested in a lunch and learn, and that would get put into the system and then spit back out to one of the reps. So we do have territories as far as the reps go, and if somebody contacted me personally and it wasn't my territory, I would pass it on to the person who is in charge of that particular territory.
Okay. All right, Lisa, I think I kind of hit all the questions and the points I wanted to ask you. Do you have anything you want to just close up with, or any points you want to make?
I think that as professionals ourselves, there are so many products out there. We really need to try them all. I know I've always been an advocate myself for when something new comes out, say the Sonicare, I've always purchased the new model to see what it's like, how much do I like it better than the other model, things of that nature. And, it's the same thing. As a person who represents WaterPik, water flossers, I think it's important, too, for me to know how the Sonicare Air Floss works. And so, we need to try these products so that we can personally recommend them to our patients, because I really feel that our patients look to us as the professional, and I think we have a much more personal relationship with our patients than perhaps the doctor does. Your patients really like you as a hygienist. They prefer to see you because you're not really the drill and fill and necessarily kind of thing. So we have to be, as professionals out there, trying out all the products so we know how to recommend things appropriately to our patients.
Do you ever find yourself like in Walmart in the dental section and people are like confused and you want to jump in? Say, I'm a hygienist. Do you have any questions?
Isn't that funny? Because I'm like, I'm looking at people and I don't jump right in. I kind of assess the situation. I'm like, all right, you know what? I just can't keep my mouth shut. I have to say, is there something I can help you with? Because I'm actually a dental professional and I'd love to be able to guide you.
I have like a counter set up at Walmart. The dental aisle.
I know, that is so true. Have you done that yourself, Mark?
I hold back, but I do watch. Like, I'm buying stuff myself, and I just kind of like listen to see what they're saying, and it's just like people are just they just don't know what they're buying half the time.
Imagine though, you as a professional know all the different products that are out there, and as a consumer, I have a couple pictures of the aisle at Walmart. I was doing a informative in just looking at the different mouth rinses, and so I have 2 photos just on mouth rinses alone. It's like, oh my goodness! As a consumer, how do you choose?
Yeah, there's too many choices. Plus the names they use, it's like you're not sure what it does, like it's very
No,
misleading, for
it,
patients. But
it's crazy. It's crazy. So,
all right,
well,
Lisa, yeah,
I'm
thank you.
sorry.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I encourage you to jump into that patient who's perplexed in the dental
Yeah,
aisle at Walmart and help them out.
yeah, I will. Yeah, thank you for doing this, Lisa. I appreciate it. I'll have this uploaded in a couple of weeks, and I'll let you know. Uh,
Okay, I'm so passionate about this product, which is why I wanted to do something like this because I cannot support a product that I don't believe 110% in. So,
I feel the same way. I wouldn't even do this interview if I hated WaterPik. You know what I'm saying? I
good
mean,
point.
I
Good
love
point.
WaterPik, so that's why.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if I can answer any other questions, give me a holler. I'm there to help you out.
All right. Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. Bye. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.
Bye.